Yes, very good afternoon to all of you. In the previous class, we have studied about the fundamental classes and objects. We have also seen about data members and member functions. So, class is an conceptual entity which is used for combining together the data and functions which operate on that data. So that is what is class. If you want to combine together the related pieces of information along with the different operations on that data. So that is possible with the help of class. When class is defined, it will be having conceptual existence. To bring the class into physical existence, we should declare the variables of the class. And those variables of the class are called as objects. Those variables of the classes are called as objects. Whenever we declare objects of a class, the objects will be reserved with certain memory in the execution environment. The memory will be reserved for data members of the class, not for the member functions. Because every object consists of data members and member functions. Data members are the actual data which we want to store and process, whereas member functions are the methods which access and modify the data. Only member functions are allowed to access the data from the objects, and non-member functions are not allowed to access the data. So these were the details what we have studied in earlier classes, like about data members and member functions. Now, so let us see the variations of the data members and member functions. So we may have different types of member functions, like how we have different types of methods other than the class. We can also have variation of the methods or functions present within the class. So that is also possible. That is the various kinds of member functions and member data that a class can have in C++. So till now we have studied about only the generic form of data members and member functions. Now let us see some variations in the data members and member functions. So what are those variations or different types of member functions and data members? So first category here is the overloaded member functions. Like how we can have the overloaded definitions for the normal functions or non-member functions. We can also overload the member functions of a class. It is possible to overload the member functions of a class. So what are the overloaded functions? The normal overloaded functions. The functions having same name, that is same interface name, but different set of parameters or different type of parameters. They are called as overloaded functions. Similar to overloaded functions, we can also have overloaded member functions. That means member functions can be overloaded. So this will add a synchronization issue with audio. Pause the video, then we shall continue with the explanation part because it will consume more bandwidth. Yes. So member functions can be overloaded. So let us begin the definition of a class. Here A is a class. Here class name of the class is A, and in the public section we are trying to define some methods. What are the two methods which are being the prototypes of the methods are being declared? First one is show method and another one is also show method, which is taking one integer parameter, and these two are overloaded functions. So what we know the overloaded functions, the methods which are having same name, these are two independent methods. This is first method and this is second method. This is show method which is taking no parameters, that means which is taking 0 parameters, whereas this is also show function which is taking one integer parameter, and we call that the function show is overloaded. So function show is overloaded. So what is the meaning of overloading? Functions with same name with different set of parameters, they are called as overloaded functions. And if the overloading of functions takes place within the class, if the overloading of functions takes place within the class, then they are called as overloaded member functions. Because what is show here, show and this show both are member functions. They are the functions within the class, and we have overloaded them. They are called as overloaded member functions. And obviously the definitions for those two functions will be different. This is for normal show function, and this is for the show member function, which is taking one integer parameter. So the program execution will begin from the main function. So what we are doing by this statement here is we are declaring an object. We are declaring an object. An object of what? An object of class A. That means we are creating one A1 object now. We are creating one A1 object of a class. So whenever you create object of a class, memory will be reserved for data members. But for the member function, for our understanding purpose, I will be showing the member functions also. So probably here there are no data. So directly we are executing the member functions. We are calling the definitions of the member function. So A1 is an object. Now onto the A1 object, we are invoking show function. So whenever you write this statement, what happens? First definition is called. That means this line will cause this show function to be called. Why? Because we are not passing any of the parameters here. And in the what output will be displayed? Hello output will be displayed once. Now what is the next statement in the main function? Next statement causes show method in the A1 object to be called by passing 3 as the parameter. As we are passing one integer parameter, corresponding definition of the member function will be called. This definition will not take any of the parameters. This definition will take one integer parameter. That means the corresponding function definitions will be matched, and this particular definition of the show function will be called. And what this show function is in the body, what is happening? The normal for loop is executing and hello is being executed 3 times. Why? Because show we are passing 3 as a parameter. That 3 will be copied to integer x and the for loop will repeat for 3 times. So hello will be displayed 3 times. So hello will be displayed once in this method and hello will be displayed 3 times in this method. So ultimately what will be the output for this program? Hello which is being displayed 4 times. Hello which is being displayed 4 times. So this show function will cause this hello to be displayed, and this show function will cause the hello to be displayed 3 times. That is what is simple notation of overloaded member functions. The member functions of a class which are having same name but different parameters, they are called as overloaded member functions. So the advantage of this one here is we can have the same function in 2 different classes. That means class A is also having show method, class B is also having show method. That means more than one user can make use of the names for the methods which they want. So that is possible with the help of overloaded member functions. Right? So another concept here is default values for formal arguments of member functions. In the previous functions, when we were discussing about the functions, if you are not specifying any of the value for the argument, we were assuming some default argument. Same way, for member functions also, we can assume some default values for the formal arguments. So in this class, show is a method which is being prototyped here, and default value is being specified. So that what is the default value says? Default value, if the user is not specifying any of the parameter values, then the default value is 1. If the user is not passing any of the parameters, the default value is assumed as 1, that is integer 1. And this is what is the definition of the show function, definition of the show function. So let us begin from the main function. An object A, this line causes an object A1 to be created of class A. Now in the next statement we are calling show method. We are calling show method. So what happens here is show method will be called, and if you can see here, there is no definition for the show function with 0 parameters. Here I am not passing any of the parameters, but this definition will take one parameter. In this case what happens? This is nothing but the default value will be assumed. So what happens? This will be assumed as show of 1. That means default value for the formal argument will be called as 1, and the integer p will get a value of 1 here, and this for loop will repeat once and output hello will be displayed once. Output hello will be displayed once. See, even though you are not passing 1 as the parameter here, here 1 will be assumed. Why? Because the default argument to be assumed as 1. We are already telling to the compiler that the default value for the formal argument should be assumed as 1. In the next statement what happens? Again show method is being called. In the next statement again show method is being called. In this case it is taking 3 as the parameter. So it causes once again the definition of show to be called, but this time what happens? Instead of 1, not default value, we are specifying some argument here. What is that? 3. So 3 will be placed in P, and for loop will repeat 3 times and hello will be displayed 3 times. So ultimately what happens? The next statement, next function call for show will cause hello to be displayed 3 times. So ultimately what is the output? Output hello will come 4 times. That means the takeaway from this explanation is, if you are not specifying any of the parameters in the function, then you may specify the default value. In case of default value, if you want to assume 5, then you can write 5 here. So it is left to the programmer. You can assume some default values for the formal argument. So output is coming 4 times hello. Right? So any problem? Preferably you mute yourself. Right, inline member functions. So in the previous classes we have discussed about inline functions. So what is inline function? Wherever the function call is there, instead of transferring control to the definition of the function, the statements of the function will be replaced in the same line wherever the function call is there. So this was the inline function. In case of inline function, what happens? The function, the program execution control will not be transferred to the definition of the function. Will not be transferred to the definition of the function. Instead of that, what happens? The set of statements belonging to body of the function, they will be replaced in the same place wherever the function call is taking place. So that is what is inline function. That can be applied for member functions also. So very simple thing. That is what it is called as inline member functions. That's what it is called as inline member function. And inline member functions, as we know, they must be initialized. They must be prefixed with the inline keyword. They must be prefixed with the inline keyword. Now another type of member function is constant member function. Another type of member function is constant member function. Now usually what we know here is the data of a object can only be accessed and modified by the member functions of the class. Functions can modify the data of the class, but in some situation you may want to restrict some of the functions that they should not be allowed to modify the data. You want to put some restrictions that some of the member functions should not modify the data. Then you should call them as constant member functions or constant functions. In other words, constant functions or constant member functions are not allowed to access the member data. Data cannot be accessed by the constant member function. That means they can only read the data. They can only read the values, but not change them. That is the restriction, but not change them. When you declare a member function as a constant, that is allowed to only read the data. That should not modify the data. So that is how we can provide restriction with the help of constant member function. So one example will help you to better understand that. Right, this is class definition for the distance class. What are the data? I feet and F inches are the data members, and we are writing prototype for 4 methods. What are the 4 methods? Set feet, get feet, set inches, and get inches. If you can see here, what was the purpose of get feet? Get feet method was used to read the feet value. It was only reading. You should not write any data. So we are declaring it as constant member function. What it means? Get feet is a constant member function. You should not modify these data. You should not modify. Don't modify. You should not modify this data. That's why it is called as constant member function. Similarly, we are declaring one more function, 2 more functions, get in inches and add function. These 2 are also declared as constant member functions. That means within the definition of the get inches, if you try to alter the data, we should get error message. If you try to alter the data, we should get error message. Let us see one sample here. So what is that? Say, here it is given, get feet method. Get feet is constant member function. It is definition. But within the constant member function, what we are trying to do in this line, we are trying to increment the value of I feet. I feet plus plus. We are trying to modify the data here and we will get the error here. Why error is coming? Because get feet is a constant member function and it is not allowed to modify the data. What is I feet? I feet is the data. And what is get feet? Get feet is the constant member function. Constant member function should not be allowed to alter the data. So this is how we can provide restriction. So another example is get inches. Get inches is also a constant function. If a function is constant, it should not try to change the data. But what is happening in this line? We are trying to assign some value to the F inches. It is error. So why it becomes error? Because get inches function is not allowed to change the data as it is a constant function. So that is the simple notation of the constant member function. What is the takeaway? A constant member function is not allowed to change the data. If you try to change the data within the constant member function, we will get the error message. Now, mutable data member is exactly reverse of that. What is that? A mutable data member is never a constant. That means mutable data member can be modified within the constant member function. That is possible. Usually what happens? Constant member function is not allowed to modify the data. But constant member function can modify the data which is mutable. So that is understood. That will be understood in this example. It is a normal variable, whereas y is a mutable data member. X is a normal data member and y is a mutable data member. Now within the function ABC, what we are trying to do? See here, ABC is a constant function or constant member function. A constant member function is not allowed to modify the data. So that's what we are getting here. It is error. If the ABC function is trying to modify X, we will get error. Why? Because the function ABC cannot modify a non-constant data member in the constant member function. X plus plus is a normal variable, it should not modify. Now when it comes to Y, when you perform y plus plus, that is okay. It is not an error. Why? Because a mutable data member can be modified within a constant member function. ABC is a constant member function and Y is a mutable data member. X is a normal data member, Y is a mutable data member. If you try to modify X, then it is an error. If you try to modify Y, then it is acceptable. Friends. Now let us see something called friends. So friends is something while giving you example about the classes and objects, I had given you example of the properties present within the house, the resources of a house. The resources present within the house can only be accessed by the members of the house. Now immediate next to family members, who comes next? Who comes next is the friends. That means after the family members, friends will be more close to the house. So with this simulation, a class can have some of the non-member functions. They can access the data of the class. So they are called as friends. They are called as friends. For example, this is a class. I'll just try to explain the friends, the concept of friends, the notion of the friends. Right? So when we have a class like this is a class which is having one integer a and function, member function. So this is what is called as data section and this is what is called as member function section. Member function section. How many member functions are there? Add is one member function and data is a. Data is a. Now we know that these data members can only be accessed by this member function. This is like a house. The resources present within the house can only be accessed by members of the house. Now other than these members, if you want to give access to the other members also, outsider also, then it must be a friend. It must be a friend. That means other than the member functions, the data can be accessed by, that means this data A can be accessed by the function which is outside the class. This is function which is present outside the class, But usual restriction is what? The data in a class can only be accessed by the functions within the class. But if there is some function which is outside the class, and if this function wants to access that data, then these two must be friends. Then that function and this class must be friends. That is what is very simple notation. That means friend functions or friend non-member functions can access the private data of the class. So that's what I wanted to explain. Now an example will clarify this notion of friends. Here class A is being declared or defined, X is a variable, and we are declaring that ABC is a friend. ABC is a friend to this class. And where is the ABC? Definition of ABC is available here. See, this ABC is a function which is not part of this class. ABC is outsider, but we are telling to the compiler that ABC is friend to this class. That means this ABC can access the data X. So that's what we are doing. That means whenever you create an object A1, we are calling ABC function onto object A1 by passing object as a parameter. So when you come to the definition of this function, what happens here? onto that object we are trying to access the member X. That means ABC is the outsider, but still he can access the variable X. Why? Because ABC is friend of class A. ABC is friend of class A. What is the variable? This example you can assume the same example here. What was that? Here X is a variable, and here I'll take in place of this function name. Which function is trying to access? What is the friend? ABC is add, it is ABC. ABC is friend of this particular class. What is that? Class A. So ABC now it can access the variable X. That's it. What is the fundamental thing here is a non-member function can also access the private data of a class provided it is friend of that class. Provided it is friend of that class. Friend classes, like how a function can be friend to a class, two classes can be friends of each other. That's also possible. They are called as friend classes. A class can be a friend of another class. A class can be a friend of another class. In such cases, what happens? Member functions of a friend class can access private data members of objects of the class of which it is a friend. Of which it is a friend. That means two objects, two member functions belonging to two different classes which are friends. They can usually access their data. That is, if A and B are friends, class A and class B are friends. I will take the help of diagram for explaining that. This is friend classes will be more understood with the diagram. This is class A. This is class B. This is class B. And what is the data here? Int A is the data here. And what is data here? Int B is the data here. Add A is the function here. Add B is the function here. Now what happens when these two classes are friends to each other? These two classes are friends to each other. These two classes are friends to each other. In that case, what happens? This function can access A. In that case, what happens? Add B function can access A. Add A function can access B. It is possible because they are friends to each other. In usual notion, what happens? In usual notion, what happens? This A is only accessed by this add A. This B is accessed by only this add B. But when the two classes are friends to each other, they can access the private data of each other. They can access private data of each other. So that is what is friend classes. And how to do that? To make one class as a friend of other class, you should write the prototype declaration like this. One statement must be written. If you want to make class B as a friend of class A, one statement must be written within the class A. What is that? Class B is friend to me. Class B is friend to A. So that is written here. What it is written? Within the definition of class A, we are declaring B as friend of A. We are declaring B as friend of A. So when you declare B as friend of A, the class B or functions of class B can access all the private data of class A. That means now B can have access to all the private data of A. Why? Because B is friend of A now. B is friend of A. Right, class B, see here we have declared, what is that? Within definition of class A, class B is being made as friend. Class B is being made as friend. That means class B can access Now class B can access private data of A. What is private data of A? Private data of A is X. So there is one more thing what I should tell you here. Whenever you begin the class, somewhere in the class definition of A, you are telling that there is some other class called B which is friend of A. Now compiler will get confused here. Where is the class B? In that case, we are telling in advance. This is called as forward declaration. Forward declaration necessary because definition of class B is after the definition of class A. See here. Definition of class B is somewhere present here. But first we are defining class A. But before defining class B, we are writing one statement within the class A. What is that? Class B is friend of class A. Just to intimate to the compiler, this is called as forward declaration. So what it will tell to the compiler that definition of class B is appearing somewhere later. So where it is appearing, the definition of class B is appearing here. Right? That's why it is called as forward declaration. It is essential. Now class B is friend of A, and this is the statement. Yes. These are all a normal function, and this is we are testing the friend. What? The variable X is being accessed, and we are trying to assign a value I to that. Variable X is being accessed. Where? By using the function present within class B. Which variable we are accessing? Variable X we are accessing, that is accessing the private data member. That is possible. We will not get any error message. Why? Because B is friend of A. What we are trying to access in this line? In this line, we are trying to access private data of class A. That is, if you can see here, definition of class A. What it is? Int X. X is private data. X is private data of class A. But class B is trying to access. Class test friend function is the method of class B, which is trying to access the variable X. It is permissible. There is no error. Why? Because B is friend of A. B is friend of A, and will not get any error message. So when two classes are friends, then we call it as a friend can access private data of another class. Now friendship is not transitive. Friendship is not transitive. That means A is friend of B. A is friend of B. B is friend of C. Then A cannot access the data of C. No, it is not possible. It is not transitive. That means A can have data access with these two can talk to each other. These two can access the data of each other. But A cannot access C and C cannot access A. That means the friendship property is not transitive. Friend member function like normal member functions. The member functions of two classes, two independent classes can also be friends to each other. So they are called as friend member functions. That means friend member functions can also access the private data of each other. They are called as friend member functions. So I will take diagram to explain friend member function. I think this diagram only will help us. I will modify the same diagram which already we are having here. Right? So two classes we have declared here. Right? So now what I will do, two member functions as friends. So instead of making classes as friends, what we will do? We will do only these two functions as friends to each other. That is member functions as friends. That is member functions as friends. That is add A and add B. Now they will become friends to each other. Next concept is friends as bridges. Friends as bridges. So what it indicates here is A friend function can be used as bridges between two classes. That means two classes can talk to each other with the help of a function which is acting as a mediator between two classes. That is called as friends as bridges. Friends as bridges. That means I will modify the same diagram for explaining friends as bridges. That is friends function as a bridge. Friends as bridges. So there will be one function here. In this example, they have taken AB. AB is a function. This is a friend as bridge. Bridge between these two classes. Bridge between these two classes. That means this acts as a mediator between these two classes. Earlier, what we were doing, we were directly making the classes and member functions as friends. Now there is one independent method which is acting as a friend to both. That means it is bridging the gap between class A and class B. So this is what is concept of friends as bridges. That means if this function can access data and methods of class A as well as class B, and class B can have access to this function. Class A can also have access to this function. That means this is a common resource which can be utilized by both the classes. Common resource which can be utilized by both the classes. This study is simple concept of friends as bridges. The practical example here is AB is a method which is friend to both the classes. That means which can be present within class A as well as it can be present within class B. That is the simple notion of friends. So next thing we have static data members. What? Static data members. Static data members and static member functions. This part I'll try to cover it in the next class. Because for explaining the concept of static and member functions, so I need some time, nearly 15 to 20 minutes. Now we are coming to the end.